Do not fear, the Plastic Queen is here. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Iconically Unhinged. On the third episode, I want to be very, very clear today. This is not going to be one of your think positive and everything is going to work out kind of episode. It's not about vision boards. Like, oh my God, if I make a vision board for 2026, my life is going to be different. No, this is going to be about perspective. Okay. Disciplined perspective got me sober, kept me alive, and got me through homelessness when giving up would have been honestly easier and understandable, dare I say. Ooh. Manifestation didn't save me. You know what I mean? Refusal did. Refusal did. Refusal to collapse. Refusal to rot. Refusal to let my circumstances basically decide who I was allowed to be. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, okay? If you're in survival mode right now, please listen. Listen closely. Let's have a conversation. Before we dive in, please make sure you are following me and the show on Instagram. My Instagram is going to be _ the Plastic Queen. The show's Instagram is iconically _unhinged. Let's dive in, shall we? What is manifestation, right? Because let's be clear and let's be honest. Manifestation has been watered down into aesthetics and candles and affirmations and soft playlists, pretending everything is fine, everything is fine. But real manifestation is actually brutal. I'm going to be honest with you. It's perspective management under pressure. What do I mean by that? What I mean is it's deciding before things look better that you are still someone who shows up with dignity, intention, and self-respect. When I talk about manifestation, I'm not talking about pretending that reality is not real. I'm actually talking about refusing to let reality strip you out of your standard and your potential. That's the kind of manifestation I'm talking about. Because when everything is gone, stability, housing, safety, your perspective is genuinely all you own. How you carry yourself in chaos becomes your compass to get out of that chaos, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience personally with this entire topic today. And I want to say it plainly without romanticizing it. There were moments in my life when I had no safety net. I had no stable place to land, no guarantee that things would improve quickly or at all. Sobriety during the time, it wasn't inspirational. It was lonely. It was humiliating. It was raw. I lost everything many times. And to be honest with you, alcohol has always been my thing. Like martinis and wine, baby. I am a martinis and wine kind of girl, okay? I started my sobriety journey around September 2022. No, 2024. No, 2022, because I finally got sober in November 2024. Now I'm a year and some change sober. That just shows that it wasn't easy, honestly. Lots of failures, lots and lots of failures. But here's the part that people don't talk about. I made a decision consciously that no matter how bad things got, I was not going to look like my circumstances. What is going on, right? I refuse. Not out of vanity. Please don't mistake it for out of vanity or out of being shallow. It's because out of survival, right? I got up. I got dressed. I did my makeup. I spoke clearly. I showed up like someone who still believed she was going somewhere. And that's the most important part, right? I still showed up like someone who believed who was going somewhere, even when there was no evidence yet. That wasn't denial, by the way. That was direction. I had a direction. I knew what I wanted and I went for it. And here's the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. Your lowest moments will try to convince you to shrink, to stop caring, to be realistic. Lower your standards because what's the point, right? What's the point? What's the point if it's not working? Wrong. That's the trap right there. That is literally the trap right there. Because the moment you stop presenting yourself with intention, the world responds accordingly. It responds accordingly. People treat you differently when you treat yourself like you matter. Try it. I encourage you to try it. Start pretending, even when you're struggling. That's the most important part, actually, especially when you're struggling. That's the best time to pretend because perspective isn't pretending you're okay. Perspective is deciding you're still worthy of the effort. I think that this is what's not clocking to a lot of people. And effort compounds, just like interest, let me tell you. It's like your credit card interest, it accumulates. I'm going to tell you genuinely that it is the most important time to believe in yourself is when you are at your lowest. And this part might make people uncomfortable. Okay. But going above and beyond is not about perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about refusal. It's about refusal to rot, refusal to blend into despair, refusal to let exhaustion turn into identity. Bam. Now, this is the most important part, right? Don't let exhaustion turn into your identity. You do your best with what you have, not because it guarantees success, but because it keeps you aligned with who you are becoming, the person that you want to be. You are starting to act like that person. Some days your best is surviving. And sometimes that's just the way it is. Other days it's overperforming on purpose. Both count. They both count. Giving up though, that's the only thing that actually sets you back. No giving up. You have to continuously believe. The belief is it's where it's at because it changes everything around you. When you believe, you act. Manifestation is not about controlling outcomes. It's about controlling who you are while the outcomes are uncertain. I think that's the misconception, right? Sobriety taught me that. Homelessness reinforced it. You don't manifest by wishing. You manifest by remaining coherent under pressure. It's not like just like I'm using coherent here as like a, as a synonym, I guess, where it's like choosing clarity over collapse, standards over self-pity, presence over numbing. That's how you survive long enough for things to change. Okay. I really encourage you right now to start walking around with self-belief. Like nobody can take this away from you. You deserve what you want. What you want is your standard. You set the standard by your wants, by your desires, by your goals, aspirations, what you allow, what you do not allow. I think this is what we keep forgetting, and manifestation comes from you constantly setting those boundaries and standing on them, not compromising your own self, not compromising your own self-belief and your own worth for something, for instant gratification or for something that is on the short term. And why is it so important to be done when you are at your lowest? Because when you are at your lowest, it's the easiest to give up, right? That's where it is the easiest to give up and wanting to just be like, you know what? Hands up. I'm done. I quit. Because it's easier to quit when you are at your lowest. But that's why when you are at your lowest, you have to remind yourself, like, for example, you know what? No, I refuse not apply to the job that I want because I don't have a car, for example, unless the job obviously requires a car, obviously. It has to be the mentality of like, I'm at my lowest, but I'm getting a job. I'm getting out of this, right? No matter where you are in life, that has to be the mentality, because my standard is that this is not for me. I'm telling the world, myself, the universe, everything around me, I'm not okay with this. This is not my comfort zone. This is not for me. This is for somebody else, but it's not for me because I refuse to sit in it. Once I sit in it, I'm accepting it. Once I let it and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Why do I even try? That's when it's over. Because why wouldn't you try? Why wouldn't you try to be better? Why wouldn't you believe that you deserve better? Why wouldn't you do that? Who would want something better for you than you? Like, why would anybody want that? Right? If you don't want the best for yourself, how do you expect other people to want the best for you? Who's looking out for you at that point, right? Who's looking out for you? If you're not looking out for your own self, if you don't walk around like, yes, I deserve better, which means that I'm not going to settle. And that's a mentality that we have to remember. And manifestation is to never forget what you have set the goal is to be. The goal is, for example, Vogue, right? I might have to start at McDonald's to pay the bills. And then while I'm doing McDonald's, I'm still learning. I'm still doing research. I'm working on the skill that is required to be at that level, the next level, right? And then the next level, because I never lost the vision of that Vogue chair, right? That's the point. That's what manifestation is about. You have to survive long enough for things to change, right? And you have to keep your vision. And if you're listening to this and you're tired, I get it. I'm tired too, but I'm here and you're here. So do not let this chapter convince you that you are less than what you know you're capable of. Okay. Let me say that again. Do not let this chapter convince you that you are less than what you know you're capable of. Dress for the life you're building. speak like someone who expects to be heard, not somebody who's always silenced, and carry yourself like this isn't the end of your story, because it isn't. It's not. It's not the end of your story. It's a part of your story, but it's not the end. Because one day you'll look back and you're going to realize that your perspective saved you before anything else could. Your perspective saved you before anything else could. And if this episode hit, sit with it. If it made you uncomfortable, good, good. That's usually where clarity lives. So come for the rants and stay for the clarity. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, bye, plastics.